Frontline News. President Rodrigo Duterte heads home early from Japan due to unbearable back pain. The Department of the Interior and Local Government issues show-cause orders against 99 barangay chairmen in the city of Manila for supposedly failing to maintain already cleared roads. The Philippine Health Insurance assures members to still get health premiums despite a threat from private hospital to cut ties. Manila Water customers warned of new round of service interruptions starting October 24th. And survivors of the Intensity 5 earthquake that rocked Davao del Sur tell their stories to UNTV News. Good evening. President Rodrigo Duterte cut short his visit to Japan as he attended the Japanese Emperor's enthronement ceremony today. The chief executive will have to skip the Emperor's banquet scheduled this evening at the Imperial Palace as he is set to return to the country tonight. Rosalie Cos details why.
Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said the president will fly back to the country after complaining of unbearable pain in his spinal column near the pelvic bone as a consequence of his fall during a motorcycle ride. Last Wednesday, October 16, Duterte fell off his motorcycle inside Malacanang complex that resulted in light bruises and slight scratches to his elbow and knee. In photos posted by Senator Christopher Lawrence Go, Duterte can be seen holding onto a cane as he prepared for his attendance at the enthronement ceremony for Japan's Emperor Naruhito in Tokyo on Tuesday. He was also photographed resting his head on the cane. Panelo explained the president was carrying a cane to assist him in his walk while he attended the enthronement rites. He added that Duterte will have to skip the Emperor's banquet scheduled this evening at the Imperial Palace. He has requested his daughter, Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio, to attend the event on his behalf. The palace once again assures the public that there is nothing to worry regarding the physical health and condition of the president. Panelo said the president is scheduled to see his neurologist for consultation on Wednesday. Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
Meanwhile, Senator Bongo recorded a message from President Rodrigo Duterte while they are on their way to the airport in Japan. Senator Go assures that there is nothing to worry about the chief executive. Let's hear from President Duterte himself.
Magandang gabi po sa inyo, mga kababayan, mga Pilipino. Alam mo, about 4 days ago, sumimplang ako sa motor. Pagka nagkamotor ka, talagang once or twice sa buhay mo, makatigim talaga ng simplang. Lahat ng magmumotor na sumisimplang. Kagaya sa akin, ang ano lang, para hindi ko matiis yung sa belt banda. 3 inches, medyo masakit talaga. Nag-toothbrush ako kanina pagising ko kasi magkain.
The Department of the Interior and Local Government, or DILG, issued a show-cause order to the chairman of 99 barangays in Manila City. This is in connection with the 60-day clearing operations order. Aiko Miguel explains why.
5 days is all the 99 barangay chairman in Manila City have to explain why they have failed to maintain the orderliness and cleanliness in their respective areas. According to the Department of the Interior and Local Government, or DILG, the identified heads of barangays may face suspension if proved of negligence.
Definitely, maraming masasampulan, most especially here in Metro Manila, not only in Manila, all over Metro Manila. Now, it depends dun sa mga reklamo.
Photos and documents that prove some barangays in Manila City have not been maintained are now in the DILG's hands. Illegal vendors as well as illegally parked vehicles are back to where they don't belong.
Nag-clearing operation nga si Mayor at ang ating mga engineering, ang ating MMDA, pagtalikod naman ng clearing operation, bumalik. It is now the responsibility of the barangay captain to maintain yung clearing operation na nangyari.
Doon po sa barangay, may nakitaan po kami pagkukulang ng kapitan. So it's possible that even if your city or municipality passed, your barangay did not. We're trying to make that distinction in reaction to the complaints that were received by the Office of Yusek Dino.
Based on the DILG's report, 101 mayors across the country have been issued a show-cause order. The DILG secretary will file appropriate complaints before the ombudsman against public officials who will not respond to the order. The DILG encouraged the public to send to their offices details and photos of roads that remain to be obstructed to be given appropriate action. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Water concessionaire Manila Water advised its clients of a looming rotational water service interruption 2 days from now. Vincent Arboleda details why.
The level of Angat Dam, the main water source of Metro Manila, continues to decline. Based on data from the Metropolitan Waterworks and Sewerage System or MWSS, Angat Dam's water level was at 186.46 meters as of 6 a.m. today. That's lower than the 186.77 meters recorded yesterday. Because of the decline in Angat Dam's water level, Manila Water may implement water supply disruptions starting October 24, Thursday. In a statement, the water service firms say they want to ensure there will be enough water supply for their customers through the summer and the rest of next year. Manila Water is the sole provider of water and wastewater services to more than 6 million people in the east zone of Metro Manila. The utility firm said supply interruptions, which are scheduled between 10 p.m. until 7 a.m. the next day, may affect selected barangays and Quezon City, Mandaluyong, Manila, Makati, Marikina, Parañaque, Pasig, Pateros, San Juan, and Taguig. The rotating service disruption may also affect Manila Water customers in Rizal Province, including in barangays Angono, Antipolo, Baras, Binangonan, Cainta, Hala-Hala, San Mateo, Taytay, Rodriguez, and Teresa. To check if your barangays will be affected, just visit Manila Water's official Facebook page. Last week, Manila Water Services Incorporated scheduled daily rotational water interruptions because of the lack of rain in Angat and Ipo watersheds in the past days. The two water service firms continue to advise the public to use water wisely and responsibly. Vincent Arboleda, UNTV News and Rescue.
Meanwhile, just this afternoon, Maynilad has also announced a rotational water service interruption in parts of Caloocan City. You could check their Facebook accounts for further details. The Philippine Health Insurance Corporation, or PhilHealth, assures its members they will still reap the benefits of their health premiums despite the threat of private hospitals to cut ties with the state health insurance. May Bermudez will tell us why.
The Private Hospital Association of the Philippines Incorporated have aired their concern to the Philippine Health Insurance Company, or PhilHealth, through an open letter. They say 600 hospitals have threatened to cut their ties due to alleged previous actions of the state health insurance company that resulted in the removal of accreditation for unknown reasons. PhilHealth has also allegedly failed to reimburse the hospital's money, which amounts to billions of pesos. But PhilHealth responds, the organization and hospital's claims obviously do not match.
Diba yung sinasabi ng mga individual hospitals different from what Dr. Jimenez is saying. So, mukhang that is only his personal opinion, si Dr. Jimenez.
Despite these, PhilHealth assures patients will not be affected, especially those who depend on the medical benefits from the health insurance company.
For them not to worry that nothing will come out of it. Walang mag-withdraw, walang mag-atras. Since history ng PhilHealth, wala pang hospital na umayaw sa PhilHealth because even those hospitals na under sanction because of several violations, they always work to recover their accreditation.
May Bermudez, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
A farmers group wants the importation of rice to stop. They say they have been suffering huge losses. The farmers group suggests the tariff on imported rice must be increased. Ray Pelayo tells us why.
The Federation of Free Farmers estimates that local rice farmers have already lost around 50 billion pesos. The group's national manager Raul Montemayor says local rice production has reached around 10 million metric tons with the farm gate price of palay reduced by 5 pesos per kilogram. Montemayor adds the loss may further increase while the farm gate price of palay may continue to fall. Both are attributed to the inflow of imported rice. Based on data gathered by the group, around 2.3 million metric tons of imported rice arrived in the country from January to July this year, and it may have reached 3 million metric tons by now. That is double the deficit in national production. The Department of Agriculture, or DA, has previously stated the volume of imported rice really exceeds the deficit in local production. The group recommends to increase the tariff on imported rice to solve the issue.
Kung masyadong malaki na yung tarifa, hindi na profitable sa importer na magpasok ng bigas.
The DA tried to do an initial investigation on the application of general safeguard measures last September to control the influx of imported rice, but it was terminated on October 10. Instead, the DA opts to give additional assistance to local rice farmers.
We discussed in the cabinet that general safeguards duty was being investigated by DA. So after a good discussion, ang decision of the cabinet, instead of that, ay magbigay ng cash assistance. And the government has set aside 3 billion pesos.
Habang mamimigay siya ng 5,000, no, malaki naman yung lugi ng magsasaka dahil patuloy pa rin yung pagtagsaan ng imports. No? So parang hindi siya ang solusyon eh. Panakit butas lang siya.
The DA said when the Rice Competitiveness and Enhancement Fund gets fully implemented in 6 years with 10 billion pesos fund every year, the cost of palay production will decrease from 12 pesos to 6 pesos per kilogram. Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The Department of Transportation will not extend the operating hours of MRT3 this holiday season. This despite the expected influx of passengers. Joan Ano tells us why.
To give way to the rail replacement that will start next month, the operating hours of MRT3 won't be extended according to the Department of Transportation, or DOTR. The rail replacement will take place during non-operating hours from 11 o'clock p.m. to 4 o'clock a.m. The MRT management assures this will not disrupt the train's normal operating hours. The MRT management asks for the passengers' patience and understanding for the inconvenience.
Ngayon, ang hinihingi lang namin naman sa ating mananakay at sa publiko ay ang buong suporta at pag-intindi habang patuloy ang palawakang rehabilitation ng MRT line upang may sa katuparan natin yung pangako natin may babalik na kalidad ng MRT3. Pansamantalang sakripisyo lamang po para sa pamamatagalang kaginhawaan.
The MRT management targets to finish the rail replacement by July 2021. Once completed, it is expected to improve the train service and speed. Several passengers say they don't find any conflict if the MRT doesn't extend their operating hours. What they are after is the improvement in MRT3 services in the future.
Okay lang kung mas maganda yung epekto. Kung sa darating na panahon, mas magiging maganda yung serbisyo.
Sa akin okay lang kasi para din sa maganda yan Kung talagang maganda, kung ba talagang gagawin nila ng maayos.
Okay lang, mas maganda naman din po talaga yun. At least para walang abiryak.
Joan Ano, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Welcome back to Y News. We pick up to where Alex Baltasar left off. I am William Theo, and here are the headlines. Over 200 families lose their homes after a massive fire torched their residential area in Santa Cruz, Manila. Newly installed PRO 7 Director Val de Leon orders rigid investigation into the J Center Mall robbery in Manila CIty, Cebu. President Rodrigo Duterte appoints Vice Admiral Joel Garcia as the new Philippine Coast Guard commandant. Former Senator Antonio Trillanes IV and Attorney Jude Sabio submit their counter affidavits for the kidnapping and serious illegal detention charges filed against them. And survivors of the Intensity 5 earthquake that rocked Davao del Sur tell their stories to UNTV News. Good evening. Over 200 families lose their homes after a fire broke out in Santa Cruz, Manila around noon today. The affected residents continue to call for help to recover. Asher Kadapan Jr. details why.
The houses of informal settlers in Santa Cruz, Manila was made of light materials and were closely adjacent to one another. This caused a blaze from the inner compound to spread out quickly. The Bureau of Fire Protection or BFP raised the fire alarm to Task Force Bravo.
Kung makita po natin wala tayong access doon sa base of fire. Sa firefighting kasi kailangan nating ma-hit ng ating water stream yung base of fire. So yun po ang problema natin.
The BFP declared fire under control at around 1:30 this afternoon. There was no reported death, but a fireman was hurt after being hit in the head by a falling object. The cost of the damage sums to about 800,000 pesos, authorities said. Investigation into the cause of the fire is underway, but some residents say an electrical wire blasted before the fire broke out.
Sabi nila sa wire daw. Sa wire, yun lang narinig ko. Sa map, may pumutok po na wire.
Affected residents are staying at Rizal Avenue Covered Court with the Manila Department of Social Welfare providing support. Asher Kadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue, City of Manila.
Meanwhile, the newly installed Director of Police Regional Office 7 orders a rigid investigation on the robbery in J Center Mall in Manila CIty, Cebu. The new PRO 7 director says he wants to know how the perpetrators were able to enter the mall on a Saturday evening. Leia Ilagan tells us why.
Two jewelry stores, a pawn shop, and a money changer inside J Center Mall in Barangay Bacilid, Mandaue City were robbed shortly before 8 in the evening Saturday, October 19. Newly installed Police Regional Office 7, Director Police Brigadier General Val de Leon wants to know the lapses in the security measures inside J Center Mall. He says police need to patrol mall vicinity to immediately respond in any eventualities.
Gusto kong paigtingin yung dragnet operation.
The PNP remind mall owners to intensify security measures in their establishments, particularly this holiday season. PNP spokesperson Police Brigadier General Bernard Banac says this time of the year criminals are active.
Lalo pang pinaigting na security screening sa mga entrances, no? Ang kinakailangan talaga masusi na buksan, inspection ang mga bagahe at mga daladalahan.
Banac emphasizes the public must cooperate in such security inspections in establishments for everybody's safety. In 2013, the Martillo Gang robbed a jewelry store in SM Mega Mall and SM North EDSA. The suspects used hammers both into the mall's department store to break the jewelry shelves and get all the displays.
Meron na tayong ginawang procedure na kinakailangan ang mga ganitong items ay nakarehistro sa ating security doon sa building at hindi pwede na kapag binili nila ay dala-dala o labit-labit lamang nila habang nasa loob sila ng mall. Kinakailangan na ito ay safekeeping, iiwan pa rin, no?
For additional security, the PNP will set in place police assistance desk within mall vicinity. Leia Ilagan, UNTV News and Rescue, Camp Crame.
The new regional director of the Police Regional Office, Mimaropa, plans on intensifying the internal cleansing within their ranks. He also has a warning to cops who will be involved in corrupt practices. Sherwin Kulubong explains why.
Police Brigadier General Licerio Obaob wants to regain the trust of the public amid the Ninja Cups issue. Obaob is the newly installed director of the Police Regional Office 4B or PRO Mimaropa. He replaces Police Brigadier General Tomas Apolinario, who served as the Mimaropa Police Chief for about 1.5 years. The change of command ceremony was held at Camp Epigenio Navarro in Calapan City, Oriental Mindoro yesterday. Obaob said he will prioritize implementing the Philippine National Police or PNP's guidelines and the internal cleansing within PNP Mimaropa.
Wants to show na ito na naman po, seryoso tayo sa ayusin ito. Siniseryoso natin dito actually, but siguro we can speculate na talaga meron pa rin talagang gustong hindi sumunod.
The new Mimaropa Regional Director warns that cops who will get involved in irregularities will be held liable.
We have to throw the books at them and pasensyahan. Ako personally medyo hindi ko rin gusto yan. Lalo na ngayon with this with the president na halos sabi nga lahat pinikay na sa atin and then ganito pa rin. Hindi ko rin gusto yan. Walang record sa akin na mang-abuso. Ayoko rin ng abusado.
Mimaropa consists of the provinces Occidental Mindoro, Oriental Mindoro, Marinduque, Romblon, and Palawan. Sherwin Kulubong, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
President Rodrigo Duterte has appointed Deputy Commandant for Administration Vice Admiral Joel Garcia as the 28th Commandant of the Philippine Coast Guard or PCG. According to presidential spokesperson and Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Salvador Panelo, the Chief Executive signed his appointment paper yesterday, October 21, but Garcia will formally assume his new post on Thursday, October 24, when Admiral Elson Hermohino bows out of the Coast Guard service. The palace is confident the incoming commandant is a man of vast knowledge, competence, integrity, and will continue to lead and advance the PCG to greater heights. President Rodrigo Duterte has not yet appointed the next Chief Justice or a new PNP chief. Malacanang says the president has his own style of choosing and appointing high-ranking government officials. Rosalie Cos reports why.
Lucas Bersamin retired as the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court on October 18, while Acting Chief Justice Antonio Carpio will retire on October 25 when he turns 70 years old. President Rodrigo Duterte has yet to appoint the next Chief Justice. On the other hand, Police General Oscar Albayalde has resigned ahead of his retirement date November 8 when he turns 56. It has been over a week since he announced his resignation amid the issue of alleged recycling of illegal drugs confiscated in a drug raid in Mexico, Pampanga, almost 6 years ago. Interior Secretary Eduardo Año has recently revealed he submitted 3 names to the Office of the President. His endorsements for the next chief of the 190,000-strong police force: Lieutenant General Camilo Cascolan, Major General Guillermo Eliazar, and Lieutenant General Archie Gamboa. According to Malacanang, the chief executive does not accept recommendations for high-ranking government officials, even from his cabinet members.
Natural lang yun na may natatanggap siya mga ganon.
Particularly from the cabinet members, sir.
Cabinet members, I doubt. Kasi ang style ng presidente, pag nag-recommend ka, lalo hindi niya i-appoint.
Secretary Panelo adds those who are known to be close to the president will hesitate to give recommendations to him on appointing government officials. How about the likes of Senators Bongo, Senator Bato de la Rosa?
Pagkakalam kong presidente, may sarili siyang estilo ng pag-vet.
How about the daughter po?
May sarili siyang style ng vetting.
Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
In other news, former Senator Antonio Trillanes IV submits a counter-affidavit in connection with kidnapping and serious illegal detention charges filed against him and 2 other respondents. The complaints have been filed by the Philippine National Police Criminal Investigation and Detection Group. April Ceredosa tells us why.
Former Senator Antonio Trillanes IV submitted his sworn counter-affidavit.
today in connection with the allegations of kidnapping and serious illegal detention of businesswoman Guillermina Barrido of Davao del Norte. In his 41-page counter affidavit, Trillanes says Barrido's accounts are merely fabrications, and that the businesswoman was forced to sign a ready-made affidavit that implicates President Rodrigo Duterte in corruption, illegal drugs, and death squads. According to Barrido's sworn statement, Priest Albert Alejo, Attorney Jude Sabio, and Trillanes treated her like a prisoner inside the convent of Canusian Sisters in Makati City and in the Holy Spirit Convent in Quezon City. Trillanes wants the case dismissed.
Lumalabas doon na talagang hindi siya kinidnap, ano? Kasi unang-una meron siyang cellphone, tapos doon sa daw sinasabi niya sa kumbento daw siya dinitain, na wala namang naggapo sa kanya. Tapos nung nakalabas siya, continuous pa rin yung communication niya doon sa mga pare.
Attorney Jude Sabio, Trillanes' correspondent in the case, also filed a 115-page counter affidavit during the Justice Department's preliminary probe today. According to Sabio, he visited Barrido twice in the convent and even saw her at a mall, which proves she wasn't detained.
Hindi ako pwedeng mag-kidnap o at saka mag-detain ng isang tao para magtestigo laban kay Pangulong Duterte. Hindi yan trabaho ng isang abogadong tulad ko.
Sabio will also submit his and Barrido's exchange of emails and videos to support his counter affidavit. Barrido was used as a witness when a complaint against President Duterte was filed at the International Criminal Court. She retracted her testimonies, however, saying she was just bribed to testify against the president. April Senedoza, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
In other news, a former Commission on Elections commissioner believes there are possible implications on the country's election system if the Presidential Electoral Tribunal rules in favor of the annulment of the poll results in 3 provinces in Mindanao. Nel Maribohok tells us why.
The petition that seeks the annulment of the 2016 vice presidential election results in 3 provinces in Mindanao is pending with the Supreme Court. This is in connection with the poll protest filed by former Senator Bongbong Marcos against Vice President Leni Robredo. According to former Commission on Elections Commissioner Gregorio Larzabal, there were instances in the past where there were annulments of election results in particular barangays or polling precincts. That power is exclusively exercised by the poll body when the commission declares failure of elections. In the case of the Electoral Tribunal, according to Larzabal, there is no jurisprudence that the tribunal ruled in favor of the nullification of the election results in one province, though the tribunal also has the power to annul elections results. But like what COMELEC did in the past, if there was nullification, there should be special elections right away.
Kasi if you annul elections, you do it wholesale. For example, may 10,000 na botante, lahat ng botante nila, lahat ng boto nila, wala. Parang it's as if they never voted on election day. Next, anong kapalit doon? Dapat, there should be a replacement election exercise para makaboto sila ulit.
But the next challenge, according to him, is the participants in the special elections are the voters during the 2016 elections and not new voters. Next is the millions of pesos of fund needed for the said elections. In this case, the right of suffrage of Filipinos is at stake. In addition, Larzabal said if the nullification of votes is allowed in an entire province, politicians would simply file an election protest to nullify votes instead of a vote recount.
What will happen is that hindi na maski maliit yung lamang, maski malaki yung lamang, hanap ka na ng area na mas malaki yung total number of votes for both candidates. Like, pagkatapos ipabawas mo na lang.
The electoral protest filed in the Supreme Court is not the issue of some politicians, but the issue of all Filipinos in their rights ensured by the Constitution. Nel Maribohok, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasay City.
The House of Representatives may tackle the probe into the disbursement of the 35 million peso reward money in the Batocabe slay case when the House resumes session next month. Ako Bicol Party List Representative Alfredo Garbin Jr. says the need to investigate the missing reward money in the case is urgent. Vincent Arboleda will tell us why.
As the lower house of Congress is still on recess, lawmakers are awaiting the resumption of the session on November 4 to begin the probe into the disbursement of the reward money in the Batocabe slay case. This after Emmanuel Judavar, the witness in the slaying of Congressman Rodel Batocabe, revealed that the promised amount of reward money was not given to him entirely by the Philippine National Police.
We want to have a conviction because you cannot have justice without conviction. So yun yung aming ultimate call dito.
The Philippine National Police say they have already answered the questions raised by the House of Representatives about the matter.
The attention of the PNP was called, no? And we were able to talk to the members of the House of Representatives who had a query on that, no? And I think we have rightfully answered their questions.
But Congressman Garbin says otherwise.
Sa akin ho, wala pa naman na lumapit sa akin, wala pa nagpapaliwanag at wala pang accounts on how they distributed the same.
Even Congressman Jose Antonio C. Alvarado, the chairperson of the House Committee on Good Governance and Public Accountability, said he has not received any explanation from the PNP. Of the 35 million peso reward money in the Batocabe slay case, 13 million pesos came from the contributions of congressmen. The resolution is still with the House Committee on Rules, which decides which committee of the House will handle the case. Vincent Arboleda, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
Meanwhile, for PNP Internal Affairs Service Inspector General Attorney Alfredo Triambulo, all 7 cops involved in the anomalous drug raid in Antipolo, Rizal last May must be dismissed. The Internal Affairs Service also reiterates their call to be separated from the PNP. Harleen Delgado reports why.
PNP Internal Affairs Service or ES Inspector General Attorney Alfredo Triambulo clarifies they have recommended to dismiss all the policemen involved in the anomalous Antipolo drug raid that happened in May this year. 4 of those police officers are included in the so-called ninja cops. Yesterday, PNP officer in charge, Police Lieutenant General Archie Gamboa, said he remanded back to PNP IAS the case of Police Lieutenant Joven de Guzman, who led the Antipolo drug raid team, as less grave charges against him have been recommended. De Guzman is also involved in the 2013 Pampanga drug raid. Gamboa has meted him with the appropriate sanctions for the charges, which is a 59-day suspension. But Triambulo clarifies they recommended dismissal due to the conspiracy among the 7 cops involved in the Antipolo drug raid. Triambulo adds he had no idea that the Guzman has been sanctioned only a 59-day suspension.
Kung talagang pinaparusahan si De Guzman ng 59, hindi na po yun pwedeng reimbestigahan. Because tinatawag na res judicata or kung sa criminal ay double jeopardy. Kasi yun usually ang penalty na ipataw mo doon sa immediate supervisor na nagpabaya ng kanyang tungkulin. Kung walang conspiracy. Pero kung may conspiracy, then the act of one is the act of all.
He adds they cannot do anything because it's the PNP chief who has the final decision on whether or not to implement their recommendations. However, Triambulo clarifies they can still dismiss De Guzman by filing a motion for reconsideration once they have received a copy of the decision. PNP ES continues their call to the National Police Commission or NAPOLCOM to give them disciplinary powers and to help them strengthen their office. Based on data from PNP ES, out of over 500 recommendations for dismissal in 2015 to 2017, only more than 100 were implemented.
Kaya kami humingi ng adjudicatory power sa NAPOLCOM sa pagkatalo po ang taong bayan nito. Dahil kung hindi na-implement po yung mga pagsibak ng mga tao nito, sila ay patuloy magsasahod. At ang masama pa nito, sila po ay magkakaroon ng pensyon kung maabutan sila ng retirement. At habang buhay sila nating babayaran.
Harleen Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue, Camp Crame.
Welcome back to Y News. Survivors of the Intensity 5 earthquake in Magsaysay, Davao del Sur share their experiences. All of them are thankful for being saved despite being displaced. Let's watch this.
Abrasions and elbow pain remind Annalisa of the strong earthquake Wednesday last week. Despite the injuries, she is thankful for surviving. She said while hurrying to get out of their house when the ground was shaking strongly, she got hit by a falling hollow block.
Mintanan mga sila mama akong gipangguyod. Nanghila kog maayo.
Even Gemma Ginang also shares her amazing story. She was grateful she was able to pull her 2-year-old son after a furniture almost fell on the child.
Lumapit siya sa akin at hinawakan ko. Pagkatapos noon, malakas na at saka nagkaroon ng brownout. Pag hawak ko na sa kanya, buti na lang kasi ang aming divider at TV doon sa kanya bumagsak. Pagkatapos kong nahawakan ito, wala nang ilaw.
Thelma Jimena also could not forget that a large hollow block from their house almost fell directly on her during the quake.
Matay jud ko ma'am, kalabihan kadako sa hollow block nga. Mupatong unta sa akong ulo kay burn out naman good pagkuan. Pagsugod og linok.
More than 400 families in Magsaysay, Davao del Sur were affected by the strong tremor. A forced evacuation has been enforced by the local government in the different barangays in the municipality of Magsaysay. This as aftershocks continue to be felt. The municipal government of Magsaysay also seeks assistance for the residents.
Sa ngayon, kailangan talaga namin ng outside sources o tulong galing sa labas dahil kung sa amin lang, hindi talaga namin kaya na tugunan ang problema namin. Lalo na nag-increase yung mga number of displaced families dahil nga sa banta ng sitwasyon sa kanilang mga bahay.
Janice Inhente, UNTV, News and Rescue, Magsaysay, Davao del Sur.
Meanwhile, the Department of Public Works and Highways has estimated 86 million pesos worth of infrastructure damage following the 6.3 magnitude earthquake in Mindanao on October 16. Based on the report of the DPWH Regional Office 12, some infrastructures in the region were partially damaged, but all the major roads and bridges in the region remain passable. Several schools in the region are also in need of repairs due to the damage sustained in the quake. Meanwhile, the DPWH said they will continue to monitor the region due to occurrence of aftershocks. And for the news abroad, Japan's Emperor Naruhito has formally proclaimed his ascension to the throne in an elaborate ceremony. The Emperor 58 officially began his reign in May after the abdication of his father, the then Emperor Akihito. Charit Lumbowen explains why.
Japanese Emperor Naruhito formally proclaimed his ascension to the throne on Tuesday in a centuries-old ceremony attended by dignitaries from more than 180 countries, pledging to fulfill his duty as a symbol of the state. The first Japanese emperor born after World War II, Naruhito acceded to the throne when his father Akihito became the first Japanese monarch to abdicate in 2 centuries, after worrying that advancing age might make it hard to perform official duties. For the main ceremony in the Matsunoma or Hall of Pine, Naruhito read out a formal proclamation dressed in a yellow-orange robe worn only by emperors on special occasions. His wife, Empress Masako, reportedly clothed in 12 layers of robes, was seen in a separate smaller throne. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe delivered a congratulatory address, followed by shouts of Banzai, translated as "Long live the Emperor." Hundreds of foreign dignitaries, including Hong Kong Chief Executive Carrie Lam, were in attendance. The emperor later hosted a tea party for foreign royalty, while Mr. Abe will host a banquet in the evening. A celebration parade was postponed out of respect for the victims of Typhoon Hagibis, which left almost 80 people dead. Charis Longbowen, UNTV News and Rescue.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will remain in power, but with a minority government that will require the support of a smaller left-leaning party after a hard-fought election in which he was dogged by scandals. The Liberals had won or were leading in 156 out of 338 seats in Monday's vote, according to Elections Canada. That put the Liberals far short of the 170 seats needed for a second straight majority government. Trudeau, who took power in 2015 as a charismatic figure promising sunny ways, saw his popularity drop over old photos of him in blackface and his handling of a corporate corruption case. He will now have to rely on the New Democratic Party to push through key legislation. U.S. President Donald Trump, whose relationship with Trudeau has been testy at times, congratulated him on a wonderful and hard-fought victory via Twitter.
From coast to coast to coast, tonight, Canadians rejected division and negativity. They rejected cuts and austerity, and they voted in favor of a progressive agenda and strong action on climate change.
Meanwhile, Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu conceded coalition talks to his rival, clearing the way for Benny Gantz to try to assemble a coalition and become the country's next leader. Jovic Permas details why.
Benjamin Netanyahu gave up his effort to form a new government on Monday after failing to secure a majority coalition, creating an opportunity for centrist rival Benny Gantz to replace Israel's longest-serving prime minister. Netanyahu, who heads the right-wing Likud party, said he had been unable to form a government following an election in September and was returning the mandate back to Israel's President Reuven Rivlin. Rivlin said he intends to task Gantz with the job of putting together a new government. In a speech posted on Facebook, Netanyahu said, "In the past weeks, he made every effort to bring Benny Gantz to the negotiating table, every effort to establish a broad national government, every effort to avoid another election." Gantz also has no clear path to a majority, and should he come up short, it would almost certainly lead to another general election, the third since April. Gantz's Blue and White Party said in a statement it was determined to form a liberal unity government. Netanyahu, in power for the past decade and 13 years in total, has seen his political strength wane as he faces a looming indictment on corruption allegations he denies. Gantz, a former military chief, has pledged not to serve in a government under a premier facing criminal charges. Likud placed second in the September ballot with 32 seats in the 120-member parliament, behind 33 for Blue and White. Jovic Bermas, UNTV News and Rescue.
In other news, the King of Thailand strips his royal consort of her titles months after appointing her. Meanwhile, at least 30 people died when a passenger bus in the Democratic Republic of Congo skids off a highway and bursts into flames. RK Liorca details this report.
In Africa, at least 30 people were killed in a bus accident in the Congo Central Province of Democratic Republic of Congo, or DRC, on Sunday, as the vehicle transporting fuel caught fire after hitting an electrical pole. The country's president visited the site of the accident on Monday and met the 16 surviving victims who remained in hospital for treatment. Authorities attributed the incident to brake failure. In Italy, a blaze broke out on Monday at the UNESCO World Heritage Site of the Royal Stables in Turin, causing the collapse of a section of the roof. 6 squads of firefighters tackled the fire on the roof of the Cavallerizza Reale, a stable built some 300 years ago as a military academy for senior officers from the Royal House of Savoy, and listed as a famed UNESCO World Heritage Site. The blaze broke out in the early morning and burned about 1/4 of the roof. No injuries were reported. And in Thailand, Thailand's King Maha Vajiralongkorn has stripped his royal consort of her titles and military ranks for being disloyal. The announcement came just months after the 34-year-old Sininat Wong Vajirapakdi was made a royal noble consort by the king in July, the first such appointment in almost a century. Sininat had breached a code of conduct for courtiers and was disloyal to the king, a two-page palace statement said. The statement also described Sininat as ungrateful and doing everything to rise to the level of the queen. R.K. Liorca, UNTV News and Rescue.
Some of the world's most advanced convergence media technologies were unveiled Sunday at the 6th World Internet Conference that opened in Wuzhen in East China's Zhejiang province. One of the most attractive displays in the exhibition hall is an AI anchor looking at the screen. The anchor's voice, gesture, lip movement, and body shape could help it easily pass the real ones. On the other side of the exhibition hall, the three-dimensional imaging machine has become a new must-try for visitors. Applying the three-dimensional imaging technology with optical diffraction tomography, the device could create 3D images out of the air and make it interactive with the viewers. The three-day conference brings together more than 1,500 participants from over 80 countries and regions, including members of the Internet Hall of Fame, Nobel Prize winners, and Turing Award winners. The iconic Wish 1075 bus continues to give a one-of-a-kind musical experience to Cebuanos. Even the Department of Tourism Region 7 wished for the Wish bus to stay in the province. Meanwhile, the finals of the Sing Like Moira contest happens tomorrow. Gladys Tuabi tells us why.
For the first time, music lovers in Lapu-Lapu and Talisay cities in Cebu province have finally seen the one-of-a-kind FM radio booth on wheels, the Wish Bus. Cebuanos jammed with their favorite local artists who got the chance to perform live on the Wish Bus. Charlene Grace Razana from Lapu-Lapu City said she is thankful for the unique musical experience the Wish Bus gives. While Lati Lambohan, who says she often watches Wish-exclusive videos on Wish FM's YouTube channel. Watching live performances through the Wish Bus is best for those who can't afford to buy concert tickets. Meanwhile, the Department of Tourism Region 7 admires the concept of Wish 1075 to help local artists to be discovered and to showcase their talents.
People can love something new all the time. We wish to have more activities like this, more events like this, more ideas.
And watch out for the finals of the Sing Like Moira contest at the Garden Row Ayala Mall Central Block, Cebu IT Park on Wednesday. Winners will get cash prizes and free concert tickets to the Braver Moira concert to be held on Friday, October 25, 8 p.m. at the Pacific Grand Ballroom Waterfront Hotel, Cebu City. For tickets, visit www.smtickets.com or www.platinumlist.net. Gladys Tuabi, UNTV News and Rescue, Cebu City.
And those are the reasons behind the news this October 22nd, 2019. On behalf of Alex Baltazar and Angelo Castro III, I am William Theo, and before we close, we will recap with today's significant sound bites. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Good evening.
Definitely. Maraming masasampulan, most especially here in Metro Manila. Not only in Manila, all over Metro Manila. Now, it depends dun sa mga reklamo.
Iba yung sinasabi ng mga individual hospitals, different from what Dr. Jimenez is saying. So, mukhang that is only his personal opinion, si Dr. Jimenez.
Lumalabas doon na talagang hindi siya kinidnap, ano? Kasi unang-una meron siyang cellphone, tapos doon sa daw sinasabi niya sa kumbento daw siya dinitain, na wala namang naggapo sa kanya. Tapos nung nakalabas siya, continuous pa rin yung communication niya doon sa mga pare.
ngayon, kailangan talaga namin ng outside sources or tulong galing sa labas. Dahil kung sa amin lang, hindi talaga namin kaya na tugunan ang problema namin. Lalo na nag-increase yung mga number of displaced families.